Welcome back to High Levelism. On your way to the door, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're feeling the content. I want to have a quick conversation about the cost of approval and how some people chase it and others refuse to, and how that impacts your identity. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. I feel like most people categorize approval as a choice. We're so numb in this generation. People feel like validation means nothing, and that's true to a certain extent. In certain social circles, I can see, validation doesn't mean anything, but when you get out of that mindset and you start learning how the world works, you notice that everything is based off validation. That promotion at work is validated by your supervisor. That new car is validated by the hustle that you had to get the resources to go get it. Or you're doing overtime, or you stacking up your bread, getting your credit right, making certain adjustments. So it's not like it doesn't matter altogether. It's about the perception, I would say. Some people think it's about liking the attention they receive. It might be as simple as that to them. Or getting praise from other people and wanting to be accepted. So in those social hierarchies, I can see that. I can see like it's a group of friends and you like, I don't care if that person or those group of people don't. But when it starts dealing with power and success and the journey to those, then validation starts becoming more into focus. Start looking at it from a different perspective. Most people learn to rely on approval over time instead of chasing it. Little by little, they notice what made people respond a certain kind of way. What made them pull back when they said this? What made them lose interest? And without realizing it, they adjusted themselves to stay a part of that picture, a part of that group, in communication with that person, whatever it may be. And at first, that adjustment isn't noticeable. You tell yourself you're being considerate. You're just reading the room. You're knowing how to move around certain people, things like that. But over time, that awareness turns into monitoring. You start paying attention not to what feels right, but how everything lines up, situation by situation. You measure your words before you say them. You replay conversation and moments back in your head after they're over, and like, man, I could have said that, or I should have said, or I shouldn't have let this slide, whatever it might be. This is where some people tend to lose clarity of their identity without even kind of noticing it happening in real time. You don't feel like you're being fake. You feel like you're flexible and you're working around, to try to make the situation work. You don't think that you're lying. You think that you're adapting to the situation. But slowly, your sense of self stops coming from the inside. It begins to form around the feedback that you get. If people respond well, you feel solid. If they don't, something inside you feels off. Your confidence begins to go on a roller coaster up and down based off of other people's behavior. Over time, this creates a tension that never goes away. You start reading more into those pauses that people give when you say something. You start kind of examining every little thing. You wonder why, for example, someone doesn't respond the same way that they used to. It could be nothing. Somebody could be having a bad day. Somebody could just be off. You're assuming something is wrong when it's not. Even no reaction, or just a neutral reaction, like not too enthusiastic or not too uninterested, just oh, okay, that's what's up. And that can kind of leave you unsettled. It's not that clarity that you usually used to operating with. And then anything didn't really go wrong, but now you're kind of trained to look for these signals instead of trusting who you are in your position. This is why some people can appear to be successful on the outside and still feel unstable on the inside. They could be respected. They can have accomplishments, admired by people, but even their sense of direction could be off. They probably don't even have the strongest sense of direction, and they call themselves leaders, quote unquote. Every decision that you make runs through a question. How will this be received? When you moving like that, you're not the main character. Everybody else is putting yourself on the back burner. And in turn, when you ask that question, how will this be received? Or how will they look at this or this? That in turn slows that person down. They start to hesitate because choices start to feel heavier than they should. And it becomes difficult to tell whether they're acting from belief or habit. Is there anything really real, or is this just reactionary to the situation? The deeper the issue is, the more that approval replaces it. Instead of deciding who you are and going from here, you wait to see how things land and then adjust how it's received, and then I'll move like this. You start to kind of shift sideways. It doesn't feel like anything. It feels like you're kind of maturing, right? Like I say, you're taking a higher route. You want to be flexible. You want to, and in turn, that's wearing you down. You're blurring the lines on your principles. It doesn't feel like fear. It feels like maturity. It's like you're building social skills. But under all of that, it's really a dependence on responses from the situations to keep it steady. This problem grows in environments where attention is constant. Online, the comment section, getting likes and people sharing this and that, or getting a DM. That dopamine hit, that's the reward. Over time, people start to compress themselves. They start to do things and say things that get a reaction instead of how they really feel or what they really want to do. It's like a crafted experience. And eventually the version of them that gets the attention starts to replace the real version of them that exists offline. When you hear that saying, make sure your life outside of social media is lit too. Make sure you have emotion outside of social media, because people garner this online presence and start to cater to that. They make this representative that is online or who only shows up at certain events, right? It's not the real them. And that starts to create a split. One version is optimized for visibility, being seen in this light, always perfect. Every picture is right. Every outfit is new. It's that. It's the representative. The other version is quiet, less refined, not reinforced. The visible version gets the acknowledgement. That other version is just like a byproduct of that. You really don't see it outside of that. If it's not a post, if it's not a picture, if it's not a party or certain environments, don't even see that person outside of the event. You know how life takes us all through 365 days a year, and the seasons and things that come with it. No, every time this happens, it's a perfect curated experience. The problem is that approval never settles anything alone. Each moment of validation fades quickly. Each success raises your expectations. Instead of relief, you feel pressure to maintain that momentum. Instead of satisfaction, you feel like you're being watched. And when the feeling doesn't go away, people assume they need more recognition instead of questioning the structure that they're living inside. There's also a quiet imbalance that forms inside of your relationships. The person who needs that approval enters interactions already leaning forward, on point, on guard. All right, they're more likely to soften their stand or move their boundaries or go back on something that they were standing on and tolerate things that they really don't like and don't sit well with them. They have the standards, but asserting themselves feels like they could throw it off because they're so used to being flexible, so used to going along and get along and make things, easier for everybody else. So over time, that teaches them to trade their comfort for that connection. This is how people stay in situations that don't benefit them for so long, whether that be work or a relationship or any other type of business dynamic, anything. If the job requires you to constantly change versions of who you are, we all gotta do what we gotta do. You got responsibilities. It is what it is. So it's not gonna be 100% perfect, but you shouldn't have to always, every 3-6 months, change a core principle of yours to fit in any situation. A relationship, if it feels unsteady, same thing. Any role that requires you to shrink certain parts of yourself is kind of the signal to say that's not for you. These situations don't just happen overnight. And it's not going to be just outright. It's in the small adjustments that you're making at the time that feel reasonable. So to break that pattern, you need confidence. That comes later though. First, you have to restrain. The decision to not feel understood all the time. To let the silence fill the room without rushing to say something. You gotta have the ability to disagree without compromising your principles. You can disagree without making you being the one uncomfortable. Yeah, it might be uncomfortable because of the decision, but you shouldn't be the one out of the equation that's always taking a hit for it. That discomfort shows how much you're already relying on the reactions of others to feel like yay or nay, or go or stop, or I'm going to do this or I'm not. Then you begin noticing how often you used to check for reassurance, how quickly you were adjusting when something didn't land, how often you had to edit that core principle to stay at that job. When you start to know and you sitting with that awareness, it feels like it's exposing it from now on. At first, it's like the lack of not knowing. But once you know, now you can't unsee what you've seen and what you've been shown. So it's also grounding. It shows you where your sense of self was being propped up instead of held up. And as this changes, your reactions start to slow. You stop chasing alignment and start noticing whether something actually fits. You don't need every interaction to be resolved cleanly. You let misunderstandings exist without treating them as emergencies. And it won't make you distant. This is clarity. This is reinforcing that another dimension of clarity. Approval stops being something that you need and becomes something that you can evaluate. You can appreciate it without it being shaped by your experiences. You can get the praise from others without it letting it define you. You can face rejection without rewriting who you are. It's discernment. Your relationships can start to change from this point. You're not trauma bonding. You can stop doing that. You can stop mistaking these toxic situations as closeness. You recognize when something requires too much self-adjustment on your part, and you can step back early where you don't have to take the L without explaining, without needing to feel the need of the approval. And that shift to show up in work, in the friendship dynamic, in your goals and family, all around the board. You stop measuring progress by being visible. You value the steadiness and consistency over just doing something, over just, making a quick move and smoothing things over. You're comfortable with it being a little uncomfortable at times. You make decisions that might not get immediate reactions, but over time, people know you're solid. Your focus stops being trying to be seen to just being solid. A lot of people don't make that shift. They feel incapable, but it's really living by that reaction feels safer than standing on your own 2 feet. By being shaped by feedback, it feels easier than you having to shape yourself. Eventually, the question surfaces, who are you really responding to? Is it the person inside of you saying, do this or don't do this, or this is what you want to do? Or is it the likes and the views and the thumbs up from others? That question matters because the answer determines how you move when nothing is behind you, when nothing is pushing you. It's how you act under pressure. How you'll treat yourself when outcomes don't go your way. A stable identity doesn't collapse when conditions change. It just adjusts. You stop asking yourself what version of you will be accepted and start asking what you're willing to stand on. You choose the consistency in what you like over the applause of others. You want to be aligned with your goals more so than aligned with approval. Approval don't last long. You get rejected, somebody goes against what you got going on, approval's out the door. You notice it, you register it, but it's no longer gives you that direction once you get shut down. So you can't rely on that. You need to rely on you. A lot of people spend most of their time trying to be received well by others. That's why they say love yourself. Because very few people spend time working on the inside, working on that validation. Don't worry about what other people got to say. You the main character. You feel like you know what you're doing. You got enough experience and wisdom about it. And if you don't, you got this strong feeling of this is what I want to do. This is who I am. You're not going to be liked. You're not going to have friends riding with you. Your family going to go against you and probably say things to throw you off. You have to be self-validated. It's your boy, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're feeling the content.